Hey there, welcome to the Ellery Wells Show. I am your host, Ellery Wells. I'm an author, I'm a blogger, an entrepreneur, and I'm a personal business coach. And for the next 2 episodes of the podcast, you're in for a special treat. There's something that I haven't done in a very long time, and that is have an interview or share someone other than me talking. I'm not opposed to it, but there have been 2 opportunities that have presented themselves, and that's what I'm going to share with you today. This first call is a coaching call with one of my favorite clients, Bridgette Petrino. She has seen just some amazing success over the last several months. We've actually worked together twice, and she's probably going to hire me again. I'm not going to spoil anything, but we're going to talk about that for the next several minutes, and some of the things that you are going to learn. This isn't just, hey, you should hire Ellery as a coach, but we're going to talk about how Bridgette has used guest posting to grow her brand. We're going to talk about understanding an avatar and how a deviation from what you might think is your ideal customer or your ideal client doesn't mean that you're losing your way or that you are straying, and it doesn't necessarily mean that you're wrong. We're going to talk about some of the tools that Bridgette and I both use to grow our email lists, to communicate with our customers and clients. And she's got some really interesting insights about how people can look back and see how far they have come over a certain amount of time to see, where that they've actually come so far. And it's really interesting. I hope you find a lot of value in today's call. And she throws out a couple quotes that are quite interesting. And I don't want to spoil them here, but she's got a lot of pretty amazing things to say. So I'll throw up the intro, and when we come back, we're going to go right into this coaching call with Bridgette Petrino from bridgettepetrino.com. I'm not one of those entrepreneurs who gave up their 6-figure salary and fancy office to start a business, and I wasn't selling lemonade to my neighbors when I was 7. I wasn't born an entrepreneur, and I never laid awake at night dreaming of owning my own business. My name is Ellery Wells, and I was forced to make a decision. Welcome to the Ellery Wells Show, where we talk with real entrepreneurs about real problems that they're facing and real solutions on how they are overcoming obstacles, achieving their goals, and making a difference in the world. If you're an entrepreneur or an aspiring entrepreneur, this is the place to be to help you start, build, or grow your business. Well, other than getting 50, I got to get used to looking down here. I'm down in the kitchen today. Other than getting at least 50 people in your challenge, what's a win that you had?
Well, I've been accepted into a couple more blog site things, articles. You know what I mean. I've been doing one a day. What?
As a contributor?
Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah. Some good ones. So.
And looked like you are inspiring other people. I saw, are you friends with Renee on Facebook?
Yeah, we go way back.
So you saw her thing maybe about where she's like, I found my voice or something.
Yeah.
Anyway, so how's everything else been?
Good. I feel like, you know what? I'm doing good. I have 52. I feel like I should be charging for this thing at this point because, oh my gosh, I'm giving so much info and I think it's going to be really good. I'm kind of like confused about where to go because I feel like I keep shifting towards these moms who have businesses. And that's who I'm mostly working with. So I don't really know what to do about that because I think I said that to you before. Mm-hmm. And you were like, well, that's kind of not the original reason for what you were doing. So I don't know.
So I don't... Maybe it was a communication thing because I don't feel like that's what I was trying to communicate because I remember that conversation. I don't know if it was the last time on the 7th or not.
No, this was a while ago.
Like 2 or 3 calls or like 8 or 9 calls?
I don't know. That's too much. I can't. It's been a blur. But
I know you don't take notes, but I'm trying to think because I know we've discussed. Because I know I'm coming up with a couple different conversations, and the one that I think is the most important one, and I think it was last time, is I think that is in line with who you're talking to. I mean, if you're just talking about moms who are struggling to be moms or struggling to have an identity outside of just being a mom, I think is the better way of saying it. I mean, that often is, I do yoga, I enjoy skiing, I play video games, or I have a business. So I don't think it's off center of what your message is. You're just honing down to, okay, the people who are really struggling with this are pulled in two different directions. They've got their kids and they've got their career or their business or their husband. And I think the struggle for your audience is between kids and something else. And maybe you're just finding that this something else is their own business.
Yeah. And it's all different. Like I said, the one was a realtor. Right now, the girl I'm working with is in direct sales. But they're all, I think the common theme is wanting to leave a legacy. So and wanting to do more and wanting to have it all. Like I always say, you can have it all, because I think a lot of them want flexibility. They want to be home with their kids, but they also want income. They want to be able to go out or buy something for them without having to like ask permission from their husband. So I'm just kind of navigating what that sounds like and what that looks like and how that may change or shift my...
I think it will come back to what you are pulled between. If you were pulled between that and going on vacations all of the time, you would attract people who wanted to leave their kids at home and go to Europe, but I think you're attracting, and this is common. This is what most people take a long time to get to this realization. Maybe they try to shy away from it, but you're attracting people that are like you. You want to start.
That's what I always say. Yeah, you attract who you are. So that's why I think these moms are coming to me, especially they see me doing these videos.
Right. So I don't know if it's much of an internal struggle for you, but I think that, like you said, you're in a good place and you're doing the right things, and sounds like you're attracting the right kinds of people, the right kinds of moms too. So.
But the other one who I just worked with was just a stay-at-home mom. So not just, but you know what I mean? Like,
I'm sure she would love you saying that. No, but remember the avatar thing? It's like the bell curve. You've got the ideal in the middle, and then you've got these weird standard deviations.
Yeah.
So she's this, but a step or two on the inside.
Because she did, and that's another thing. Like almost every single mom that I talk to, whether or not they have a business or not, I want to say almost every one of them has said to me, oh, I always thought about starting a blog or starting this or starting this. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I feel like even if they aren't doing it, they're thinking about it and just waiting for the right time.
So remind me to come back, and I have a proposition for you based on something you said a week ago and just now. But that'll be a sidetrack. Keep going.
So in light of all that, which I feel like is good, like this is good, I'm really excited about my 30-day thing. I have, I guess I didn't realize how much I have learned. Because like I said, I guess I also don't give myself enough credit for how much of a hustler I am. Because people who have been doing this the same amount of time as me, I don't think they've done half of the reading, the research, the trainings. Like I am like, it's an obsession. So I'm like, all right, I'm just going to give them 30 prompts for these live videos. And all of a sudden it's becoming tutorials on how to do interviews and then how to content upgrade by getting email addresses and how to repurpose and post it to YouTube. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like this is so much information, but they're going to be like loving me by the end. I just know it. So I need to think of something really good to offer at the end of this.
Is it fun?
I love it.
Good.
And it's so easy for me to sell. That's why I think I got so many, not like I have all these people, but I'm hardly trying because I 100% know that by the end of these 30 days, they are going to be wowed. So it's just an easy sell. Like I'm like tagging people or just everyone I talk to, I'm like, why aren't you in the challenge? Like, why? And it's not, I'm not like, oh gosh, I feel like I'm trying to push them into doing this. I'm just like, you're crazy not to do this. Why wouldn't you do this? And then it's up to them. And I'm also to the point where it's like, you know what? I'm going to tell them once, because I had a few people like, yeah, I'm going to do it. And then they haven't signed up yet. I'm not going to, I don't need you in this challenge. You need this challenge. If you can't enter an email address, you're never going to make it through anyway. And I'm not going to chase you down. So I've gotten to that mindset, which I think is the perfect mindset.
Do you see how that's different from
It's so different.
6 months ago?
Yes.
Maybe even 3 months ago?
Yes. And that's why I feel like this is my zone.
Okay. So I would not disagree. Think of this. This is the thing that you want to do. This is, a point to keep coming back to. I like that you said, I guess I don't realize how much I've learned. That's pretty cool.
And I really feel like I'm finding my voice. I guess I'm using Renee's term, which I didn't hear her say, but I've been emailing my list every 2 days with like great value. And I consider myself pretty funny. So I'm really liking these emails that I'm sending. Content upgrades, becoming seen as an expert, building know-like trust factor, repurposing live videos for blogs, vlogs, emails, YouTube, how to split screen for an interview, what you need to make a Facebook Live video, and 30 prompts to have your audience loving you. And I'm talking all about selling, and you need at least 30 touches before someone buys from you, and all this stuff. And I'm like, holy shit, I actually know a lot when I'm writing it out. You know what I mean?
So if you were telling somebody, like, I woke up one day and I was like, I know so much. What would you tell somebody who wakes up and they're like, man, I don't know anything. I don't know how to get started. I'm worthless. What would you tell that person?
I would just say, where were you a year from now?
Like a year before that?
Yeah. Remember where you started.
Because I think there's a lot of people in your audience and a lot of people that I talk to who would benefit from hearing what you have to say that would say those exact same things. I don't know anything. I've just been doing the same job for so long and I don't have the time. It's too technical. I'm not technical. Because there was a point in time when you're like, WordPress, I don't want, and now
I still am a little bit.
Now you're like, landing pages and need this and,
I would also say that whatever it is that you want to do, this is why you need to have me on your podcast, by the way. But whatever it is that you want to do, your passion is enough of a qualification to do it.
Very cool.
That's what I would say. Your passion to research and live this every single day is the qualification that you need.
And do you feel like that's a message that your potential audience, not necessarily the ones that have subscribed, not necessarily the ones that moms out there need to hear that?
Yes.
I would agree. Because I think that's where you were, man, and time has flown. Have we known each other 2 years?
I know.
Has it been?
No, it's been like a year and a half.
I feel like maybe not quite. Well, maybe when we started, Coach. I feel like that was you. Like I sort of know who I want to work with. I mostly know what I think they're struggling with, and now there's a definite conviction in your body language and how you say things that, like you said before, I don't need you. They need you.
Yeah, exactly. That's the difference. That is all the difference. And also something I've learned. Before I was doing one blog post a week, which is fine. I'm not saying what I did was wrong or right, but now that I have just hit my flow, I've been pumping out content like a machine. And part of it is that I've hit my flow, but part of it is the more you create, the faster you get better. Like,
Yeah.
I could maybe after 20 blog posts, I become 5% better. Now I could do 20 blog posts once a week and take 20 weeks to become 5% better. Or I could do 20 blog posts in 30 days and become 5% better every 30 days. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. That's a good way of putting it. And I feel like you articulated what I've been trying to tell people. And
Yeah.
maybe it doesn't.
I'm telling you, I am like in the zone right now. Like, zone. I feel like, you know what? So this is crazy too. My husband was in Amsterdam this week. He travels like all over the place now. So when he's gone, I like end up actually watching more TV than I normally would. And I just happened to see, have you ever seen Tourgasm, Dane Cook's?
No.
Oh my gosh, you need to watch it. It's on HBO on demand. It's only 9 episodes, so they're like 20 minutes each. And I watched this way back before I had my twins even. And I'm like, oh, I remember that was funny. I'm going to watch it again. So he goes on tour from one side of the country to the other with 3 other comics. And it's a documentary of them living in this tour bus for 30 days. And just the behind the scenes of being on this tour bus. And they do 20 shows in 30 days. And I'm like, that is going to be me. I am going to get in a tour bus. I don't know with who. Maybe myself, maybe with other motivational people. And we're going to tour the country in a tour bus. Like, so I really watched it to not only just because it was entertaining, but to like see, like, okay, like this is totally doable. I'm going to do this. I don't know when, I don't know how, but that's what I want to do. So I don't know. Anyway, that's another
I believe
whole.
that you will do it, because most of the things you say,
I know, I do.
You do. There's some things that you said, I'll think about it. And maybe you do, maybe you don't. We don't always talk. But the things you say, I'm going to do it, you usually do it.
Yeah. So that is like on my brain. Like, I want to do that.
All right. So you're on fire. You're in the zone.
I'm ready.
We
need to figure out what to offer. You told me you didn't know what you were offering at the end of your 30-day thing, but now I think I know what you're going to offer at the end of your 30-day challenge.
What do you think?
Your 8-week thing.
Yeah.
8 weeks. Yeah. So whatever. Anyway, what should I offer? Coaching?
I would see what. Let me pause there for a second, because I had a realization, and I think this will apply to you. Maybe realization's a little bit strong. So you saw my quiz, the entrepreneur quiz. We talked about it. I was looking at something else that Thrive Themes was doing, and I was like, or it says, how to create a good quiz, and it should. No. It was in .com Secrets. But he talks about quizzes being one of his hot lead magnets things. And he said all of your quiz should basically make it abundantly apparent that there is a gap in their life that you can fill.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why I think this is relevant is the quizzes are cool, but as you go through your class, what is their feedback telling you that they need? I'm not saying you should not figure it out until the end, but I'm kind of thinking as you do this, they will say, this is good, but this is how I would have done it better. Or this is good, but I still need help with this. Mm-hmm. And you start getting that feedback because you've got a good sample size. You've got something that you are very interested in. And this isn't your very first rodeo with doing a challenge like this. You've done the points things and your other Facebook groups. But I think from what you're telling me is this one is going to be different because you're different. So what their feedback is, what they need. Oh, I love this. I'm sad it's over. I wish I got more time to spend with you to learn how you do it. I know what you told everybody, but I want you to help me. you get feedback like that, and then you can tailor that into a group thing or a one-on-one thing or a course, something like that. I think their feedback will tell you what to create.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. And I was kind of like playing around with the idea of some kind of 6-month program with modules.
Let me ask you this. Are your moms going to sit down at a computer and do modules?
Yeah, that's a good point.
In one regard, they are very much like you. In another regard, they might not be in other ways. They may have the passion, but they may be not. They don't know how to even log into a training course.
You know what? That's a good point, because at the same time, I'm thinking about hiring this branding girl who I really like, because I know like my front page, like I like it all, but I know it could be so much better. She's like, yeah, you get 4 sessions with me and also access to like this 8-week course with modules. And all I'm thinking is I really don't feel like doing an 8-week course. Like I'll take the 4 sessions and I'm not going to sit down. So that's a good point, because I don't feel like watching the trainings and then figuring out how to implement all of that. Like I'd rather her just, that's why even with the masterminds, like I just want one-on-one, just tell me what I need to do, not what most people need to do, just what I need to do.
Okay.
So that's a good point. So maybe it's as simple as a half-day intensive or something, a couple hours strategy.
Keep the things that we've discussed in the past in the back of your mind, because you've talked about doing half-day things locally.
Right.
Your audience is growing around the country and possibly the world, so probably the world. So think about how they would want to receive that that message. Because honestly, I don't know. I'm like you. I don't like doing courses. That's why 8 weeks to exit is there's lessons, but then we have weekly calls.
Yeah.
So it's not just passive learning, go and watch this stuff, but it's finding what your audience wants. And maybe that will come from their feedback as well.
Yeah. I think that's good to just kind of, because I can put something together. It's not going to take me that long. It doesn't even necessarily need a sales page if it's, a few coaching calls or something.
Right. You already have the way to accept the payments. So.
And I could say, only 5 people. I can only take 5 people or something.
Yeah. I mean, if you did that and then you said it was $1,000 for whatever, 5 out of 50, more than 50 that have enrolled, that's a 10% close rate, which would be, I think in online terms which would be very high, but not necessarily for you, how you are.
Because they're warmer leads.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, you're talking about doing, I don't want to say a rebrand, but a freshen up of.
Yeah.
And it's a big deal. I think whenever, I mean, this is your storefront. This is your, when people go, it's the first impressions. And we talked a couple calls ago about not making big changes anymore. It's the small changes.
Yeah.
It's the polish that makes everything just right. But that's why I think it's important to take a close look at some of this stuff. Is, do I want to have a light background or a dark background? Or do I want to go purple or blue?
I feel like someone could help me, like a branding person could help me just get a little more clear. I don't know. Yeah,
I have talked a lot about branding, but not necessarily how to refine it. And it's been a long time. So that's, I don't hate that idea. So yeah, I think you could take the feedback that you're going to get from these people and put it together in maybe 2 or 3 groups, and then this type of feedback, that type of feedback, and then come up with something to serve those people. I'd start asking for feedback fairly early on and say, I'm I've got a few ideas for something to follow up this course with. I'd love your opinion, your feedback. And then you start engaging people in that process, and they'll be more invested in what you come up with. I helped her come up with that idea. They might even tell people, that's my idea, and you should check this out because she's doing what I told her to do, even though that might not be true. But you could then come up with a program to serve the moms that you want to serve. And again, I would not necessarily think when you have one of these people that's not that ideal avatar, they're a step or two to either side of that, like the stay-at-home mom versus the one that wants to start a business. That's not a diversification on your message. That's a result of you having a clear message. And she's interested in it because she may be a stay-at-home mom now, but doesn't want to be in 5 years or doesn't want to be one forever. And, this is the type of influence I need in my life. So I wouldn't have that as a crisis of your brand, which I think that's the impression that I got when we first talked on the call was I'm kind of, I don't know who I'm talking to exact. I think it's because you do that you're attracting these people that they don't know exactly who they are yet. They're 18 to 24 months ago, and they see someone who is a strong, positive, funny female influence in their life, and they are drawn to that. I wouldn't dilute your message just because they're slightly off of your ideal.
Yeah.
The CRM tools. Did you have a
Oh gosh. I started one. I forget even which one. HubSpot, I guess. I think I need to stick with like a Google spreadsheet for now until it gets too big because it's just too much.
Okay. How are you going to implement a Google spreadsheet to keep track of where people are in your funnel?
I'm thinking of just putting their name, like the date of if they, either reached out to me or I them, and then follow up date. Oh, and like their status, are they a customer? Are they, potential customer? And then maybe set like in a reminder on my calendar, like 30 days from now.
You are going to hate me for this next comment, but you can do all of that in ActiveCampaign.
I know. Oh, you mean oh gosh, I know. I can't,
So despite your frustration at my comment, you could tag people, whatever software that you use, you could email people that are tagged as customers or prospects, but not customers. So you can treat them differently, which I would suggest you do that. I'm getting more into email segmentation, and it's a lot of work. But the email, like you didn't get an email from me this morning, did you? About Pat Flynn?
Yeah, I did.
Did you listen to the SPI episode?
No. And that's why I was like, huh?
Anyway, I emailed people that I knew it was my execution, not the software. But you can tag people based on an activity. They signed up for my course, they signed up for this, but they haven't bought anything yet. You can email people that are in that category who have not bought anything yet. And the reason why I mentioned my email today is I took my listeners and the ones that were tagged as SPI listeners, which I guess I did do that wrong. But you can treat people different based on actions that they have taken.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
In a Google sheet or not. Did you hear that? That was my cat.
Oh.
She sneezed.
Sneeze?
That's a big sneeze, Booms. But whatever you keep track of it in, I think it's a good idea. I would make sure that, again, like you mentioned something else, whatever you do decide to use, make sure it scales as you grow. And it's not going to create a monumental effort to move off of it as you grow. I feel like you're reading more into my comment than I meant. That's why I love video calls. Let's just screenshot that. Like, are you freaking kidding me? Look. Or I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I'll get there. I agree with everything that you said. My brain is not at that point yet.
I understand.
So I've reached out to a couple local small shops about selling my cards, which I haven't heard back from any of them. And that's fine. But just any kind of collaboration that I can do, one a day, that's what I'm doing till I get to 100.
Have you been pretty good about that
Yes.
in the last 2 weeks? Sounds like it. I mean, from what you had posted in the group.
Yeah, I've literally been trying to get on this parent.co for a year, and they finally accepted one of my articles.
And they did I read that right? If it's original to them, they'll pay you for it?
Yeah, and this one's not. But if I get a certain number of views, they'll pay me. And same with this other one, Red Tricycle, which I applied to be a contributor, and they accepted me. And then I hadn't gotten around to like submitting any articles yet. They'll take republished ones. So I was like, I'll just, do something. And they went on my site and handpicked 2 articles and said, can we publish these on our site? And if I get a certain number of views within 30 days, they'll pay me. So I was like, okay. And they're like, and please, we love your voice. Please feel free to submit any other articles. I'm like, all right.
How many times had you asked for that one?
I only had applied to be a contributor, and they approved me. And then I was like, okay, I'll, when I get a chance. But they beat me to it.
Bridgette's going to rule the world someday.
Oh my gosh, my last email, I said that. I'm just loving my emails lately. I said, in order to be a warrior, you must have first fought a battle. And I just talked about how, actually, what you just asked me, what do you do when you're feeling like self-pity or whatever? And I just said, remember where you started. Where was I 1 year ago? If I've made this much progress in 1 year, if I do that every year for the next 10 years, I'm going to be queen of the damn universe within the decade.
I love that. You can't be a warrior if you haven't fought a battle or an order you want. I mean, that's so true. So many people, and you've probably seen this, Bridgette, every good movie that we would want to watch, something bad happens and somebody gets through it and then they come out different on the other side. But so many people are afraid to do something that puts them at risk. You don't have to go search for a bus to hit you, but you got to cross a few roads. You got to go on a journey, and inevitably something bad will happen. And we put ourselves in the bubble so much that nothing interesting happens to us.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the interesting things that make us attractive.
Make a life.
And our message, not physically. But
I'm so in the zone right now. Like, I have somebody else who literally found me on Google. I don't know how. She found one of my articles just by Googling it, and then essentially begged me to interview on her summit, which she has 31 people on who all have a list of over 5,000. And she's like, will you please be a guest speaker in my summit? And I'm like, sure. Like, I feel like I'm finally hitting my stride. And as much as I feel like it took forever, it really didn't.
Do you think the forever that it took, meaning 18 months maybe, do you think that was a waste of time?
No. If I could go back, I would have went faster with less comparing and less uncertainty. Just believe in myself more and just keep going.
And what role do you feel like coaching has played in your last 2 years?
I tell everybody to get a coach. Got to have a coach.
Did you build another landing page for your explicit cards?
Yes.
Man, you checked off everything.
I'm telling you, I'm on the zone right now. Which I actually just had someone order them yesterday without me promoting them. And that's what I said to my husband. I'm like, I'm finally getting to the point where people are like, wait, where were those cards? Let me find them. Are they still available? Like, someone's like, are these still available? I'm like, yes. And boom, bought them. So I'm like, I just need a bigger audience, and this will happen a lot more regularly, not just randomly.
Dude, did you do this on purpose? This is genius. This is my psychology degree coming out. Actually, where I learned about Jungian archetypes the first time was in freshman. No, it's from Mr. Coleman in high school, and we're talking about is either Star Wars or Harry Potter, but light versus dark. And you did this, whether you realize it or not. Your clean cards are light and your naughty cards are dark.
Mm-hmm. That's on purpose. I always think about how you said, how do you want people to feel? You know, and with the softer ones, I want them to feel like, oh, spa, you know, pretty, whatever. And then with the bold ones, I want them to feel like, it, I'm doing it. So, yeah, it's a completely different design.
Awesome.
Colors.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's good.
Just out of curiosity, just talking about the sales funnel here. What if you change, how many, add a set for my bestie, how many of those are you upselling?
None.
Okay. What is your profit margin on the cards? You sell them for 19. How much does it cost you to get them delivered, printed, delivered, and then turned around and shipped out to somebody else?
I don't even know at this point, because the more I order, the cheaper it is.
Right. Now,
I did spend $75 on each of them for designing, which is one time done.
That complicates the equation, but let's look.
I know, it's so complicated. That's what I'm like, I don't even know, but I'm not really doing it to make a profit.
It's not hard to figure out, but for the purpose of this equation of how much your profit margin is per deck, we could add in the $75. But for 38, how many decks did you get?
Oh gosh, this is so, because I can only order them in 50s.
So 50 probably for 38, right? So it's 76 cents per deck. So you're making, let's assume it takes $4 to ship them. That's $5. So you're making $14 of profit.
Well, that was free shipping too, but whatever.
But you still have to
right.
Ship it.
Yes. Yeah.
So basically $14 of profit. The reason why I was thinking of this is I would probably take the set for the bestie and drop it to $15. Reduce the cost for the additional one, because that's your cost to ship it won't go from $4 to $8. It'll go from $4 and either stay at $4. True. Or it'll go from like $4 to $6.
Right.
But by reducing the cost, it's basically pure profit for you. And that also spreads your message to their best friend who doesn't know you yet. But hey, right. You got to check this out because Bridgette is awesome.
Okay. That's a good idea.
So they're 76 cents a piece and you're $14 in margin. And you spent 75 on design, which honestly looks like a pretty wise choice because the cards look awesome. And we're dividing that by $14. You got to sell 6 packs to cover the cost of the design. And I bet you've already done that at least, right?
No, not quite.
Okay.
But I haven't promoted them much because I made them and then I started jumping into all this other stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of like, I literally like talked about it once on my Facebook page and that's it.
Yeah.
So I'm like kind of waiting till this 30-day thing dies down and maybe I'll, do something with those. But I wanted them more for somehow getting into the local stores, hopefully. And if not even that, just as like a little gift to give any coaching clients, or at the end of this 30-day thing, I might give away a pack for free. Like it's more of like me getting my branding out there.
And I think especially with the soft cards and the bold cards, I think the cards look really good.
Yeah, so it was not only that, but something I just wanted to do. So they're not like, oh, this is where I'm going to make all my money. You know what I mean?
Right. I mean, it's $19, but that's the post that I mentioned on Facebook that I'd already written it and I had to rewrite it, was why you should have a $10 product. 10, 19. Yeah. We're not.
Yeah.
I mean, we're just talking just a couple dollars, but this is exactly what I'm talking about.
Right.
They're even different colors, which is not, you didn't just change the words, you changed the color of the actual cards. And I think you've really done a good job. Actually, what you might want to do I don't want to give you more things to do. But what if you got a clean, let's call them soft cards and the brave cards? How would somebody do that if they wanted a clean version and a naughty version? You just have to add one to your cart, then go back.
Yeah, because I have them in, oh gosh, it's so complicated. I got to figure it out better. But the clean ones come in a set of 28 or 14, and the bold ones come in a set of 21. I know. It's just got a little crazy.
I was going to say, I clicked through you're almost to the purchase page, and it was like, oh, okay. Anyway, you sell 10 of them, you've more than broken even, regardless.
Yeah.
The
And I'm not worried about it. I think I can do that. It's
I
just,
do too.
I haven't like put any effort into that yet.
I do too. What else you got? And then I want to mention what I wanted to share with you, but that can be at the very end. What else we need to knock out today?
I think that's it. I'm just like, I got to really think about what I want to do at the end of this 30 days. And how many sessions do we have left?
Maybe one.
Oh, that's what I thought. Okay. Yeah, I got to think about what I want to do after that one.
What do you want to do if you knew 5 people wanted in or 10 people wanted in, and they had a budget of $50 to $500 or whatever? What would you want them to buy? Because again, these people are like you. They're busy. They've got kids. They're trying to start a business or grow their business. What would you want to offer them?
The one-on-one, I think I get the most results with people from the one-on-one. Like the 30 days and stuff, people never like finish it, and then it's like, that was, it was good when I was doing it, but then I stopped. And then, so it doesn't make me look very good because they're not getting great results, not because of my fault, but because they can't follow through. So if I can work directly with someone, although this girl that I'm working with right now, every week we talk for half hour. I even like shared a Google spreadsheet with her, and we have her action items listed out with dates, and like she never does them. Oh gosh, it's frustrating. And she has a lot going on, but maybe that's her problem. But I'll text her during the week. Like she'll be like, I'm going to do a video every day this week. And then it'll be Wednesday and she hasn't done one video yet. So I'll text her like 9:00 at night. There's still time to do a video today, just trying to, and then maybe she'll do one. But it's hard when people don't do what they say they're going to do.
That's my biggest frustration with working with anybody.
Yeah. Because you're like, well,
is why it's so nice to go through a checklist and you're like, yeah, I did that. Yeah, I did that. But you're also seeing a lot of results. I look back at some of the mastermind groups or coaching clients who I wouldn't necessarily, I think failure is maybe too strong of a word, but I don't think the coaching or the mastermind is an expense. I absolutely believe if you do everything, it is definitely an investment. You should get a return on that investment. And when I look at people, they're like, man, this just isn't working out for me. I'm like, okay, we've talked about 2,700 things you should be doing. Have you done one of them?
Right.
But it usually never gets to that point because they just give up.
They fall away. Yeah. And that's the other thing. Like, and I'm telling her, she's like, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do this. And I'm like, first of all, like you need to pick one thing that you're going to focus on. And second of all, you need to do it every day. You can't just do it randomly once a week.
So let me challenge you then as your coach, coaching the coach. She's not paying you to be like Bridgette, the girl I go and have fun with on Friday nights. Ask her, like, you wanted to do these things. These are the goals that you set for yourself because you knew they would get you to where you're wanting to go. What's stopping you from doing those things? Mm-hmm. You did not make her add those to the list. Maybe you did. But she agreed to them. You didn't have a gun to her head. She said, yes, in this moment, those are things that I want. Call her on it. Mm-hmm. You said you were going to do this. What happened?
I know. Now, I get it. And I feel like I'd be a lot more like that. But like she has had like some bad stuff happening. Like her one son has cancer. He's like 9. But it's hard for me to be hard on her. And maybe I should just take that piece out of it. But
well, you can hold her accountable, because I've got a coaching client that's like that too, where if you just went in there, and I'm that way, honestly, like if you come in there like you suck and you should be doing this, and you know, I'd be like, okay, and then I'm never talking to you again. So that style doesn't necessarily work. However, the message, I think, is still important. You can say, hey, I know you've been really busy. These are the things that you wanted to do. What got in the way? Mm-hmm. How can I help you eliminate some of the things? Or maybe we need to talk about the things that are on your schedule that we need to eliminate. But I know these are important to you. You said these were important to you. How can we make sure these things get done? Mm-hmm. And that's the same message, different approach. I think it's the same message, just a different approach. Maybe it didn't cross the same to you, but
no. Okay.
Some people want the drill sergeant, but you got to feel them out. Everybody's different, and they're going to be, they're going to, at the end of a bad day, they're going to be different than they are at the end of a good day. And you just have to feel that out. But I think that's an important thing that defines coaching versus teaching, and also versus being a friend. Anyway, you can't play the game if you give up or stop when you get punched in the face or you fall down. And I think that's an important distinction, again, between a teacher and a coach. And then your friends are going to be like, yeah, sister, that sucks. Let's go have a beer or a apple teeny, or insert stereotypical thing that you probably don't drink. Anyway, teacher.
All right.
Friend.
Last thing that I just wanted to talk about. I don't know that we need an answer today, but just what has been on my mind is that my Brave and Bold 5-day thing, I get opt-ins. However, I feel like, again, when it's live, when I do it live, it's like, oh my gosh, like this is the best challenge ever. But when they do it themselves, I don't think that they ever, probably never do it, because it doesn't convert to sales generally. A little bit, and maybe, I don't know, maybe it is fine. It's just on my mind, should I only do it live every 8 weeks, and they can still opt in whenever, but let them know it's not going to go live till such and such date? Or do I just leave it at that, and hopefully they just love my witty emails and end up buying from me after the challenge?
I would say hope is not a plan. But my first thought was, what if you asked for their phone number, and then the third or fourth day, you called them up? That would blow their minds to actually get a phone call from you. And you're like, hey, you're doing the challenge. And they'll say, I'm not doing it. I'm sorry. You're right. It's great. Or, yeah, I am doing it. And they're here. If you set aside a 5-minute phone call, maybe 10 minutes, and you did that, that would blow their mind. And it would be a hybrid possibly between completely I'm uninvolved and I'm doing this live myself. And honestly, I think if you called somebody like that, your conversion rate into a client or something else would probably go up a little bit. Whenever I got this call from this guy named Michael in Australia, we talked 2 days ago. It's 4 p.m. here, 7 a.m. there. And he was like, this is kind of a celebrity moment, which is weird to hear that. But you'll have that same experience. And he's like, I think when I'm done with this other coaching program, which sounded like it kind of sucked, I will probably hire you in January. And just that personal touch, which, as a side note, I have been told so many times how good it is, how refreshing, how weird it is to get a personal response from me, to actually get an email that's not either automated or an admin, or actually get me on the phone. And I'm just thinking, what are other people doing? Just like you were talking about calling all your clients and having conversations with them a few months ago, how much of an impact did that have on them? A lot.
Yeah.
So maybe that's a way that you can do a middle ground between, I have to do this live and get behind the camera every time, versus this is an evergreen program that I don't have to touch anymore.
So would I just add the box to the opt-in thing, like the phone number box, or do I like end one of the emails say reply with your phone number, or?
I just like you did on your receipt when you did not have their shipping address for the cards. I would add it as an optional. Make sure it says optional, because your conversion rate will go way down if you require a phone number. But what's your phone number? I'll give you a call and see how it's going. Do that, and then you could say, if I don't have your phone call or phone number, reply back, and I'll give you a call before the end of the challenge to see how you're going. Because that might spur them to have an additional accountability anyway, whether you actually get to call them or not, or whether or not they give you their phone number or not. But, name, email, optional phone number, I'll give you a call to see how it's going. And then in that first or second email, make sure I have your phone number, and I'll give you a call tomorrow or 2 days or whatever the actual structure of the thing is. And I think that will also improve the conversion rate to something else. So.
Okay. That's a good idea. All right. That's all my questions.
Because if my 30-day blog transformation, I don't know if you did that or not, but that's all passive. But whenever I have my landing page with the correct dates, I get more opt-ins than I get whenever I say it's closed. So I've had some experience with what you're talking about. Okay. The thing that I wanted to mention to you, you mentioned on Facebook chat that you had somebody who might go through the 8 weeks exit program. I'm thinking about doing some sort of affiliate program for it, with like a coupon code to where you could make money if someone uses your code to sign up for the program. Would that be of interest to you?
Yeah, I think I could. I know quite a few people who talk about wanting to start a blog and. Okay.
I've already bought the domain 8 weeks to exit, and there's 8 weeks in exit strategy. But going through that weekly calls plus course material and getting in there and helping people troubleshoot stuff that I actually really like to do. All the stuff with WordPress and, configuring plugins and all that kind of stuff. Also in conjunction with the stuff I've already done for exit strategy, which is also an outline I came up with like 2 or 3 years ago and forgot about it, and then found an old note that jogged my mind. But all the stuff that would help somebody get to where you're at, blog, the software to use, hosting, the very basic stuff that I used to not want to talk about anymore, but I think that's the people that I get the most results from or get the most benefit from working with me are the ones that I take from, I don't want to say nothing, but no online presence to get them set up right. And I think I hope there's value there. But before our next and possibly final call, I think it is our final call. What do you want to have done that I can hold you accountable for?
I'll add that phone number thing. I'll change the price for the add a set for your bestie. And I'm probably just going to have questions because my challenge starts Monday.
Okay.
So I feel like I'm going to know more once I'm in it. And I'm going to probably have ideas and questions and all that.
Okay.
And I feel like, and maybe we could talk about this more next time, but with moving forward with coaching, I'm not sure if I'm going to do it right away or take a little break and then come back.
I'd like to hear that.
I might work with this branding girl for a few weeks and then maybe I don't need a coaching call. Like, I don't know.
Okay.
But I like the fact that, you're flexible with that. So that's good. And as long as I can always bug you through Messenger.
Yeah, the accessibility might go down if there's, but it's not like, you're cut off.
Cut off. Yeah, I know you're not like that.
You know this. My ultimate goal is to make you guys successful. All right. Schedule your call for the next one, whenever that wants to be, or the final one. If you have any questions about which package you want to do, how many calls, let me know. Anything else?
That's all.
All right. Well, you have an awesome day.
You too. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
Have you finally had enough? Has your boss or the company told you just one too many times that it will get better? Do you feel like you have more to offer the world than what you're currently able to do? And is starting a business something you've been thinking about but haven't found the right help to get started? If any of that sounds like you, I know you. You and I are just alike, and I felt like you are feeling right now, and I heard the empty words that you have been hearing. In 2013, just weeks before I got fired from my job, I made over $20,000 in commissions. And the same boss who would later walk me out the door handed me a trophy for being the, quote, MVP of our sales team. Oh, the irony. It was during that period that I decided to either A, polish off my resume and beg somebody else for a job, or B, see what I was made of and work on building my own business. And maybe you've had the same thoughts. Maybe you've been in a similar question, and maybe you've asked yourself this question: do I try or do I settle? If you would like to try, go to 8 Weeks to Exit and check out my new training program, and I'll show you how to build an online business in 8 short weeks. Head over to 8weekstoexit.com to enroll and to become a student. All right, that about wraps it up for today. Thank you for tuning in to the Ellery Wells Show. I'm glad you're here, and if I can help you start, build, or grow your business in any way, please let me know. If you want to find this episode, all of the links to Bridgette's site, to her cards, you can go to ellerywells.com/Bridgette Petrino, and I'll spell that for you real quick. That's BRIDGETTEPETRINO. That's Bridgette Petrino. From Round Rock, Texas, I'm Ellery Wells. I hope you have an awesome day.